Hello, welcome to Patched. I'm your host, Paul James, down joined by Matto Phillips. How's things, mate?
Super. Great. We are a day after the joke of what is called an Easter, because it is April 1st on Easter Monday.
Is it?
It is. It is one big joke. Finally, it has come full circle.
Huh. I had no idea. Yeah, okay. That's all right. I can get around this. Shit. I had no idea.
I'm surprised no one's noticed that, but then again, no one cares. Everyone just hears Easter and everyone's cool. It's 4 days off. Win.
Yeah, and like Easter Monday is just, a weird day off anyway.
No one cares.
Well, I'll keep that in mind when I'm at the footy on Monday. Anyway, we are talking about two particular franchises this episode, but we're going to start with the Elder Scrolls because a little bit of word came out of Bethesda this week regarding the Elder Scrolls 6, which, look, I think when they speak about that game at the moment, people kind of sit up and pay attention because it's been, 2011 was when Skyrim came out, so we're already at 13 years, let alone whatever it takes for the next game to finally come out. So they basically said the game is playable at this point, which might kind of seem small and trivial, but I think for anyone who's kind of been looking forward to this game for a long time, to have that new game kind of actually you can get on the sticks and play it properly at this point, seemingly from start to finish is kind of the way I interpret it, is kind of cool. What do you make of that?
Well, define playable. Are we talking Redfall playable, or are we talking Darkfall playable?
I don't know, but I guess they kind of said the same thing about. They said the same thing about Starfield, and that was in 2021, and then we didn't see the game for another 2 years. So, I'd imagine, look, I'm surprised that they're actually announcing this as soon as they are. I assume it's probably much earlier in development than what Starfield was when they kind of came out there and said, hey, we can, play it from start to finish or whatever. But only because Starfield just came out and there's DLC and all those sort of things that they're working on, and presumably a PS5 version that's going to make its way out soon enough as well. So I'm a little surprised that this news has perhaps come as early as it has, but yeah.
Well, maybe because everyone just wants, like I said, it's been 13 years. People are like, hey, where's this Elder Scrolls game coming out? And he's probably had enough and gone, right, I'm taking the jacket off. It's playable. Puts the jacket back on and walks out.
I mean, yeah, there could be a bit of that, to be honest.
And then there'll be a collector's edition arrow to the knee replica, where it's just an arrow in the knee. Get on it.
People will buy it. People will buy it for sure. I'm just looking to see if I can find the exact quote around this thing, but it was kind of part of a. I don't know. It was part of a 30 years of Bethesda post that went out. It was
30 years.
Yeah, I know that's
insane.
Oh, sorry, 30 years of Elder Scrolls, not 30 years of Bethesda.
That's still
so even longer.
Well, okay, so hang on. It's 30 years of Elder Scrolls. Haven't seen one for 13 years.
10 years of Elder Scrolls Online. So basically that entire gap's been filled with the MMO, which, to be fair, is meant to be very good. And I do intend... I keep saying the same thing about Final Fantasy 14. I do intend to play it at one point, but...
No, sorry. Helldivers 2 is just so much better. I'm sorry. For Super Earth.
For Super Earth. Actually, I found the quote. Part of the last thing, last but not least, yes, we are in development of the next chapter of the Elder Scrolls 6. Even now, returning to Tamriel and playing early builds has filled us with the same joy, excitement, and promise. There was something else that kind of suggested more, but anyway, I found that little quote within the post. Anyway, like they're playing it, which I guess is something, but I still can't imagine this thing to be coming out any time before 2027, 2028, maybe.
Yeah, I think they've admitted to saying back in 2018, saying there's an Elder Scrolls 6.
There is a trailer out there.
There's a trailer, but I think he admitted saying it's a bad idea to tell them back in 2018 saying, hey, there's an Elder Scrolls 6, because there are people expecting, I don't know, 4-5 years time before, the world went to shit. And here we are.
Yeah. Let alone the fact that...
I think a lot of developers as well back then were announcing games that, to this point, have not resurfaced, like Metroid Prime 4. We haven't heard anything from that since that guy in the Nintendo Direct said we're working on it. And that's it. That's all we've heard from it.
Oh, look, I think that's a Nintendo Switch 2 sort of thing at the moment. But yeah, we'll probably have an episode for that. It's a weird one. Because they've announced this. They announced this. I mean, they announced before Starfield came out. They said Elder Scrolls is coming out after that, and then they said Fallout 5 has been developed after that.
They mentioned. I swear they mentioned it in their whole Starfield 40-minute advertisement. Said, "Oh, we're working hard on Elder Scrolls 2, not 2 as well."
Yeah.
Thinking, cool. Maybe we should focus more on the spaceship game first before really talking about Elder Scroll.
Yeah.
Well, they did, but
yeah, it was crazy to announce that in the first place. I know that was probably a response to the fact that millions of people were just constantly screaming and shouting at them because the sales for Skyrim are still insane to this day. But they didn't need to say anything. And then they've made it worse by going, okay, Fallout 5 comes after that. So they've announced a game that's probably not going to come out until 2030 at the absolute earliest, probably with Fallout 5.
That depends how well the TV show goes, which premieres next week.
Is that next week now?
I swear, I'm pretty certain it's next week. I'm pretty sure it is the 12th of April in Australia, or that's just, I think, just worldwide. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the 12th. Yeah, so we're about,
But the thing that freaks me out the most about that Fallout trailer is that Gould has teeth. That's not right. You can't have shiny white teeth and be a Gould. It does not work. That's not how it works.
Yeah, Walter Goggins.
Is that him?
Yeah.
Is he?
I'm pretty sure Walter Goggins is,
I know he's in it. I didn't know he was the Gould. The Cowboy Gould.
Goggins Gould.
So they're not his teeth. They could be his teeth.
Yeah, Walton Goggins, yeah. Yeah, it looks like it. And look, to be fair, because we know that I tend to bash all things Fallout, I'm kind of into what the TV show's doing. So I think it's always been kind of the gameplay, the VATs and those sort of things that's driven me mad. So
I think it's nice too to see that it's not someone, it's probably going to be someone looking for their mum, their dad, or child, which is what the last two Fallouts have been. If they don't do that, win.
Yeah, that's fair. So we've got that whole side of things, and look, I think there's plenty of questions about why haven't they potentially looked at the support of like Obsidian or other teams to potentially put other games out along the way. Fallout 76 style spin-offs. And, we could probably sit and question that a little bit. But one of the questions for me, I guess, actually, and of you, that we can kind of discuss links to some other news that popped out this week regarding the next chapter for all things The Witcher. CD Projekt Red had an investment thing, and they kind of spoke in a fair bit of detail, actually, about kind of where they're at, what they're up to. They spoke about their pipeline. Have you seen all these details, or am I kind of presenting the numbers to you?
I saw a picture of it, but I didn't really look too much into it because it was confusing me. I was like, I don't understand what's going on here.
Yeah, so they've got 5 different games kind of going on.
Cyberpunk there. I don't know what Cyberpunk was doing there. I was like, okay.
Yeah, they've got 5 different kind of games on the go at the moment, and one that but 4 of them that are kind of directly happening under their own roof. So they've got a lot of them have still got code names at the moment. So they've got Polaris, which is the actual, like, it's The Witcher 4. That's the one that they've at least put, like, there's the key out for. It's the next big proper chapter in the Witcher franchise.
They should have called it Bart.
Well, yeah.
Not the rock troll, Barty.
Sirius, which is from the Molasses Flood team. So they were an indie team that CD Projekt kind of picked up and bought a couple of years ago. They're working on something in the Witcher universe as well. And then there's the remake of the original one, but that's being developed externally. I'm sure there's probably like 5 or 6 people that are consulting and kind of helping out with stuff, but for the most part, the work's not going on within the studio. They've then also got Project Orion, which is basically the next thing for Cyberpunk, whatever that next game ends up being, and then a new IP called Hadar, something like that. Now, we knew about all these different code names; they were all kind of announced, but they then kind of provide a little bit of details to, I guess, where those projects were at, and then how many staff were actually working on those. I guess the thing across the board though is they're all basically pretty early days. Polaris and Sirius all in pre-production at the moment, so they haven't really hit full steam ahead yet.
Oh, no modeling.
Orion is still concept stage. The remake of The Witcher apparently is still in the concept stage, and Hadar is in the IP concept phase, which is even earlier. Like, they're still trying to work out what the hell this thing even is. So we can kind of kick that Hadar new IP sort of thing to the curb. We're probably not seeing that one before 2035 or something at the soonest. But in terms of how the staff are being, or like how things are kind of being distributed, they've got 627 staff members at CD Projekt Red, and that'll include probably the people who handle GOG and all that sort of stuff as well. And there's a little section that kind of talks about, I guess, non-development staff, really. But of those 627 developers and what they're doing, 403 of them are working on The Witcher 4. Polaris. So it certainly seems like, as much as that listing says pre-production, it sounds like it might have just flicked, or it's about to just flick into full production mode now, which I think is obviously really exciting. Nothing's really allocated to. There's like 8 people allocated to other projects, and I'm sure some of those are the ones that are working with Fool's Theory on the Witcher remake. But they've got a few people they're phasing out from from Cyberpunk 2077. But yeah, the majority, more like almost 2/3 of the team, is now all working solely on The Witcher 4, which tells me they actually are now into proper development, not just pre-production anymore. Could The Witcher 4 come out before Elder Scrolls 6?
Probably.
Feels like a possibility.
I feel like the Bethesda's going to make this absolutely ridiculous, big open world that doesn't need to be that big. While I think The Witcher 4 will just make an open world that works, like they did with The Witcher 3. Wasn't that? It was big-ish, but not super big. But there was enough in there.
Yeah, it was densely. It was pretty densely packed.
Keep you entertained, and you're not wasting your time going from one side of the map to the other.
Oh look, it could take an hour just to go from one side of the map to the other in The Witcher, but if you wanted it to. But yeah, it's probably not going to be, to your point, it's probably not going to be as big as what you'd see from Elder Scrolls 6, but yeah, I feel like at this point we're probably going to see The Witcher 4 before Elder Scrolls 6 at this stage. And the thing that would, I guess, entertain me as an outsider kind of looking in, and someone who doesn't technically have any horse in the race other than definitely being keen to play both games once they come out, is the possibility that, like in 2015 when The Witcher 3 came out, that Elder Scrolls 6 goes head-to-head with The Witcher 4, similar to how The Witcher 3 went head-to-head with Fallout 4. And Bethesda got stomped by The Witcher that year.
Oh, so, of course they did.
I'd really love to see that kind of contest, because this time it is fantasy RPG going head-to-head with fantasy RPG, which I think is kind of cool on like a theatrical
Frying pan versus arrow.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one. Ooh.
Arrows in knees versus, frying pans. It's going to be great.
Oh, that is going to be very interesting.
But I guess, do you think it's possible that we might see this Witcher game sometime in the next, we'll say pre-2027, 2028, when we assume that Elder Scrolls is going to come out?
I would hope so, because, same again, it would be, 12, 13 years since The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
And look, to be fair, they've done nothing in that. It's not like they've done nothing in that time, but yeah.
Oh no, just fixing up problems which they have fixed, which is good to see. So they don't have to, I would say, focus so much effort into Cyberpunk, because it is near, I would say, near completion, nearly done.
Well, since
no more DLC, so win.
Yeah, since Witcher 3 came out, they've done 2 expansions, one of them being huge in the Blood and Wine DLC. They've put out Cyberpunk. They've put out Phantom Liberty. They got so heavily invested in... Well, sorry, they had to fix a lot of Cyberpunk as well. They were super heavily invested in Gwent because that kind of became a thing. So they had their own Gwent breakout game. They had... Oh, I've forgotten the name of it now, but there was another Witcher game.
But that's not another Witcher game. Or Soul Calibur.
Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales.
Yes.
That came out. There was that one. Or no, was that the... Yeah, that's the one.
Monster Hunter.
They've had... Well, yeah, they had their...
Crossover?
Not Monster Hunter, but they've done Monster Hunter crossovers, though I'd imagine they just gave Capcom some assets, and that was it. They did do like a Pokemon Go for a while there.
Did they?
Yeah, and it wasn't too bad. It just didn't stick.
Oh, it doesn't make sense.
What was it called? The Witcher Monster Slayer. I don't know if it's still a thing. Actually, I'm looking at the Wikipedia now. The game will no longer be available to download after January 31st of what year is that?
This year? Well, still got a year.
I know, it got shut down on June 30, 2023.
Oh, damn. What a shame.
And look, I tried it. It was alright.
But it's not Pokemon.
And I feel like I'm
Pokemon.
I feel like I'm becoming a bit of a connoisseur of these sort of games now between Pokemon Go back in the day, Monster Hunter, and now now Monster Hunter, but also The Witcher along the way. I don't mind these IPs that kind of being spun into these Pokemon Go likes.
Is that Pikmin game out yet? The mobile one?
The Pikmin was out. That disappeared like a fart in the wind.
Just so it should have. That was the silliest thing I've ever seen. Just stick.
I don't think that was a great idea.
Yeah, it was a horrible idea.
They've done heaps. I guess they've been busy, unlike Bethesda, which they've done Starfield, and that's it since Fallout 4.
Yeah.
So, Fallout 76, I guess they committed a bit of resource to, but again, that wasn't technically them.
It wasn't good. I mean, you were very fond of that game when we said our worst buys many, many, many years ago, where Paul had an absolute meltdown of the worst purchase game he ever brought, and it was Fallout 76.
Yeah, I was regretting that.
Yes, his $130 collector's edition was not... That's cheap back then. Now it's a lot more.
Well, yeah. Actually, look, it could have been a lot worse. So I guess we can say that. But wasn't stoked with how Fallout 76 went. And I guess technically it wasn't really Bethesda for the most part. They just kind of helped. But I don't feel like they've got the same sort of excuse that CD Projekt does, because CD Projekt has done a whole bunch of stuff.
While still fixing
games and updating games and running an online store and I don't know.
Saying sorry and all this stuff.
Saying sorry a lot.
Then laughing at everyone that had to go buy the full edition of Cyberpunk because it got good again instead of buying it for $20 like everyone else did. Instead, you have to pay $100 for DLC and the game. So, who's laughing now?
But I guess without wanting to get too negative, can you just imagine if both games live up to the hype, though? Like if Elder Scrolls is able to follow up successfully on what Skyrim was, and if Witcher 4 can follow up on what The Witcher 3 was, whatever that year is, or what those years are that they come out, just imagine.
So it's going to be tough for The Witcher 4 because I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, they're not going off the books. Is that right?
I think they're... look, there might be some material that they're focusing on, but it's not I don't think it's a Geralt story anymore.
Oh, it's a series story.
I think it's probably a series story, but...
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing.
And if Bethesda comes into the modern century, and instead of having to wait for a room to load when entering it, instead of just, like every other game, just walk in, you'll be great. That's the problem with Starfield. It felt so 2012. Oh, I'm going to go into this place. Nope. Enter. Load. Any other game, instant. And
it's...
Come in there now, Bethesda. You'd be fine.
Hopefully they get somewhere near the quality of of Elder Scroll, like of Skyrim, but we'll have to wait and see there. Look, I'm excited for both. It'll be huge whenever those two games come out. I am keen to play Starfield. I am at this point. I mean, I people remember I got the watch, I've got the jacket and stuff here, and yet I still haven't actually touched it yet because circumstances kind of didn't work out. So at this point, I feel like I'm probably closer to playing the game on PS5 than I am on Xbox at this rate.
Maybe they'll put out a Starfield PS5 controller. Because they
can't rule it out, can you?
Sucked in. Those PlayStation fanboy suckers will get straight into that.
I actually don't know where the watch has gone, to be honest, though.
Oh, no.
It'll turn up. But
it's looking. I can't see it. No.
It's not in the background. I don't think it's in here. I don't know. I have no idea where it's gone. We'll work that out. Any other thoughts on all things Elder Scrolls 6 and Witcher 4?
Can you just release some games in the meantime so we're not sitting in a chair turning into a skeleton like those memes waiting for Elder Scrolls 6?
It's been 84 years.
I'm 84 years old. That's what it's going to feel like.
I'm hopeful that maybe this Molasses Flood Witcher game, because it's going to be smaller, it's more indie. I'm hopeful that maybe can turn around before everything else. I'm hoping that maybe Elder Scrolls, like Bethesda, does something in the middle. I really think the biggest miss for them is like they're so stubborn about no, we need to do this ourselves, and you hear that mostly when it comes to Fallout because Obsidian was crying out to do another spin-off like Fallout 76, and Bethesda's just saying no. Like they've got to open it up to others.
And what did Obsidian do in the end? Made a Starfield game better.
Outer Worlds.
3 years before even Starfield came out. So, yeah, really dropped the ball there.
Yeah.
You know what they did? What happened when you opened the door there? Just went in. No looting whatsoever.
It just works.
Just works. It's crazy.
Who'd have thought?
Insane.
Well, we'll wrap things up there. If you enjoyed this episode of Patch, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Visit the website, player2.net.au, for reviews and previews and a whole bunch more. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au. And, Matto, social media, Twitter, where can people find you?
We've got quick there. Okay, Matto_Phil.
Paul James Games for myself. The website is player2au. Thanks a lot for watching. Go, I don't know, play Skyrim again for the 20th time on your 15th platform.
Or go into cryostasis for the next 5 years if you're that impatient.
That too. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you later.